Picked up by Kent. Changing direction. Looking for blockers. Kent! He's got some room. He's got to beat Hamilton. He cuts it back inside. Mama! Dinner's on the table. I'm on my way. Touchdown. Jalen Kent. Kick return to the house, and Kirksville finds some magic here in the third.
No question they find some magic. Kent just dodging past one player, two player, getting past multiple attackers, is just moving forward, all on his way. And just an unbelievable run from Kent. And just like that, it gets Kirksville back with a little bit of life. And now it makes it a 3-score game. I hope the dinner is hot and ready too.
Can they punch it in one more? Yeah. Mr. Kent says, I want some dessert, and he's got it. 20-point lead for Capital City. But Kirksville has cut it down just a little bit more. And now we've got a ball game, Joe.
That we do. I mean, it just seemed as if we saw the 2 touchdowns back-to-back come from Capital City. Now we have Kent just come out of nowhere and make this what seemed to be a game that was near, I don't want to say done, but all but certain. But now we've seen a little bit of fight and a little bit of bite from these Kirksville Tigers. So going to be interested to see how their defensive line is going to try to stop Capital City's explosive offense. But 2, which team is going to try to create the most control going into this third quarter? And it's going to be a little bit interesting. And if you like high scoring, you have come to the right place this evening. 3 touchdowns in just under 90 seconds. My goodness.
Wow. Just when Kirksville looked like they were going to lay down, just when Capital City looked like they were putting the finishing touches on cruising to an easy second half, the Tigers get an answer from their senior. Fielded by Hurley Jacobs, who was an up man on that return. And has a nice return up to the 43-yard line. So now you're Capital City. Still a very good-sized lead, but what's the message if you're Joe Collier to your team right now as you try to maintain some of the confidence you've built up throughout this game?
Slow down. That would be a message I would say, if anything. Slow down, gain the yards on each play. You don't have to rush to go for the big score every single play. Just take away 3-4 yards at a time, make the clock your own, or be Jalen Thomas and run it.
Jalen Thomas making the field his own tonight. To the house. 57 yards for the score.
Jalen Thomas just finding the open route and just able to walk past the Kirksville defense. Oh my goodness. We've got an offensive explosion here tonight, CT.
That we do. It's Jalen Thomas's 3rd touchdown of the night. And Kempker puts the extra point up and through. Joe, you said slow and steady. I don't know what that was. It looked like a burst of energy.
Yeah, remember earlier when you said it was opposite day in the first half? I think clearly they are listening to us and saying, no, you hear these guys up top?
Yeah.
No, forget them. We're just going to run. We're just going to keep running the score up back and forth, back and forth. It definitely feels as if, you know, it could very well turn into a track meet of anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. So now we're going to be able to see what Kirksville's going to be doing to match what Capital City has done. One play, 57-yard touchdown. Could also potentially, we see another run from Kent. I don't know, it's just been a very unexpected third quarter. 29 points, I should say, between these two teams. My goodness. Not bad for a Friday night.
No, not bad for a Friday night at all. This is where we love to spend our Friday nights, and we really appreciate the viewers and the fans viewing this broadcast week after week. As Kent looks to get to the edge, Jalen Kent pushed out of bounds by Harrison and give Kirksville the football back. 42-15 lead for the Cavaliers over the Tigers. Nearing 7 minutes to go in this third quarter of action. Kirksville with a kick return for a touchdown by Jalen Kent. It's the last score they had since the first. And now Chrisman gets the load on 1st and 10.
First time we've seen him play less than 10 yards over the past 2 minutes, it seems like. Now I'm going to be interested to see how Danielson's going to utilize his core. We could see a quick pass coming up to Kent, but we could also see the coach Joe Collier.
And what a program he's built from start to finish as Chrisman takes it across the 50 for a first down. How about year one? You remember it, Joe. A slow grind to try to figure out what would work for this team. Ty Wood, who's still on this team, recognized tonight as senior night. He was the quarterback at that time. And they just couldn't find a lot of success in the first couple of years. And now look where they are, on the verge of getting an opportunity to host a district playoff game.
I mean, if you would have said that even this season, it would have been just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say unthinkable, because this team has been building up this core since day one. You got to keep in mind, this team played together in freshman and JV ball, so they know each other, they know their style of play. They're not necessarily thrown into action immediately. So this program has had some time to develop, and they started early.
The stretch play there by Kendrick Hartman, holding to open up some of the running lanes for him. So we'll come back to the 45-yard line.
But you also have that with growing pains with a new program in a new school like Capital City. And yet they found a way to make it work and really make an impact this season, potentially going 7-2 should this result hold tonight. And now an opportunity to not only host a district playoff game, but get to face off potentially against another CMAC rival should some other things shake out later on in the next couple of weeks.
Trying to evade the pressure, but he can't. Wiegand, check that. Hayden Miller on the sack. We say Matthew Wiegand's name so many times that didn't expect Hayden Miller to get back there and make some noise, but he did. The senior comes up with a sack.
And just once again, Miller, just a sneaky guy who's going to try to get those quick sneaks and sacks. And that's exactly what the Cavaliers needed in second and a very long to go.
I'll tell you what, Joe. Kirksville's got to find something here. Flag on the play. Pass incomplete. Intended target was Kendrick Hartman. We'll see what the flag is. Looks like Joe Collier, whatever it is, he's going to decline it.
So it's still set them up at 3rd and 25. Kirksville's 35. So they're still going to looks like they're going to decline it. Wait, what our head official says. Yep. That's a smart move to decline too. Burn off a down. Keep Kirksville deep in their own territory.
3rd and 25 from the Kirksville 35. They got to get to the Cavaliers 40 for a first down. Danielson not going to get out of the pocket as Layden McDaniel takes them down in the backfield.
This defense just continues to find a way to sack every quarterback and get them deep. Just a great pressure and just a great sneak as Danielson was waiting too long and just continues to push him down. And now 4th and 38. Obvious choice, but to punt.
Nehemiah Hamilton and Cameron Harrison back deep to return. Hamilton calls for a fair catch down at the 49, so the Cavaliers will start in Tiger territory. But officials have something to sort out before Capital City takes back possession.
Wonder if they saw maybe a personal foul, a little bit of roughing the kicker.
Okay, so that is a penalty. And even though he made a big play on third down rather, did Landon McDaniel on the sack. Fourth down brought roughing the kicker, which brings an automatic first down now, and Kirksville gets the football back.
Not ideal if you are Capital City, but an absolute best case scenario of getting something from absolutely nothing at this point and an opportunity to keep the drive alive.
Screenplay left to Chrisman across midfield, but a flag. Man, these flags have been flying rampant the past couple of plays, Joe.
That they have, and you have to think too, if there's any just late game jitters or just miscommunication that we've seen on both sides of the ball. But again, that's going to keep pushing Kirksville back a little bit more.
That was an eligible man downfield. You wonder, with the confusion of the penalty before that, if that warranted Kirksville to run a play quickly and not be set on the offensive end. They go to Chrisman on 1st and long, and they get back into manageable territory as he picks up about 7 on the play to bring him up to the 39-yard line.
Once again, just great sight from Chrisman and just his ability to keep plays alive and moving forward. Nothing to sneeze at, but still got a little bit of ground to gain. Got 2nd and 8, but nonetheless, you're on a down series you didn't expect to have after going 4th and 38.
Screenplay right to Kent, the intended target. Pass was a little too short and incomplete.
Just grazing the ground a little bit more, so another 3rd and 8 situation for Kirksville. I think stick with the aerial attack, because Kent's been able to help you and bail you out of big plays. And 2, we talk about 3rd down conversions. Kirksville 4 for 13 tonight. Cap City 7 of 8.
Can this defense come up with another big play? Yes, they can. Ball is loose, and it's Capital City's. Reese Turner was there to mop up the mess. How about another turnover for this Capital City defense?
Number 2 in this quarter, we should say. Number 3 on the evening thus far. And once again, just the big guys on the D line just continue to make things happen. So now, just like that, Capital City is back in business in Tiger territory.
1st and 10. They go to Jacobs, barreling over defenders. Picks up 9 on the 1st and 10 carry.
Once again, just Jacobs continuing to push his Cavaliers just a little bit forward each play. And what can we say, too, just about the game management that Hayden Carroll has done all season long, and especially tonight, of getting some of these, just some of these late scores here in this 3rd quarter.
Flags fly from every which way, as Jalen Thomas was the intended ball carrier. But a false start will push back this Capital City offense.
We're starting to see more jitters and really just more tensions and frustration potentially coming from Kirksville, but also to Capital City, eager and ready to keep things moving.
Nearing 3 minutes to go here in the third. Hard count. Got Kirksville to jump off sides.
And back-to-back false starts. So you got the offsides, and you got the false start. So you're keep moving back and forth, just back and forth. But nonetheless, it keeps Capital City moving.
Give it inside. That time it went to Thomas. Tripped up, but enough for a first down. First and 10 coming up from the 19. Can Capital City punch it in one more time? They can. It's a Hayden Carroll house call with a little flip to the rim to cap it off. Number 7 is in for 6.
Just a nice little swish. Coming in for Hayden Carroll, and now he's getting some points on the board. And a nice little jump in the line. But also Jacobs is down.
That is not the picture that you want to see if you are Capital City. Your senior leader having some trouble, but good to see him try to walk off on his own power, not putting any weight on that right foot. So you wonder if that is the issue. And he knows it. He knows something doesn't feel right.
You can see the frustration and feel it too on senior night for him.
Yeah, you can see his ankle right there. Get contorted and twisted all over as he had a couple of Kirksville Tigers on top of him. Kick is up, and it is good.
No good.
Or no good. It is far left for A.J. Kempker. He's been so automatic tonight that you just thought he would put it through.
Now we're taking a look at Collier with Hurley Jacobs just trying to be able to walk this out.
You know, if you remember earlier this season when Capital City was at battle, a similar situation happened with Hurley Jacobs where we didn't see him for a good portion of that second half. I believe it was in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He came off with a similar injury, and Joe Collier just said, you know what, we're not going to risk it. We got Jalen Thomas in this backfield that can keep things together. They walked away with a very narrow victory, but in a game like this, when you've got districts coming up next week, you got to be very cautious with Hurley Jacobs.
Absolutely, and I mean, with Capital City not necessarily in cruise control, but you mentioned that game against Battle, which was just a back and forth affair. We also started to see the depth of offense that Joe Collier has really helped nurture underneath Jalen Thomas, and we've seen, of course, quarterback 2 in Carroll make some noise this evening, and not to mention the defensive INTs playing some big impacts too. The depth is there for Capital City.
Crispin on the return. 23-yard return on the play. But still a 33-point lead for Capital City over Kirksville. 2:15 to go in the third. Kirksville's trying to find some life here. The last couple of possessions haven't been all that great for this Kirksville offense. It's been riddled by penalties, mishaps, and just an inability to move the ball at an efficient rate. They keep it on the ground on 1st and 10 as Crispin breaks a couple of tackles. Picks up a nice gain of 9 on the play. they'll pick up the pace of the offense and get back up to the line of scrimmage.
So gonna see if Kirksville's gonna
Timeout called, as there's a injured Capital City Cavalier on the ground. That's Marquise Galladay. We'll step aside as well. 1:54 to go in the third. Back in a moment on MC22.
Well, because it's the best. and that's true, because I've thought about that. I mean, definitely the fastest. And the biggest thing I hear most people talk about is the stability of it.
MediaCom's network is very reliable. We have a lot of programs in place that can monitor kind of issues that arise. That way we can fix them before they reach the customer.
Trust the pros. Get Extreme Internet starting at $9.99 a month for a year.
There's senior running back Hurley Jacobs getting taped up by the athletic training staff. As on the touchdown run by Hayden Carroll, he went down hard. Had his ankle rolled over by a couple of Kirksville Tigers and came off the field gingerly. Could not put any weight on his right ankle. He's taped up. May be available. We'll get some more information on it as it becomes available. In the meantime, Jackson Fairwell gets the carry and picks up a first down.
We haven't seen that offense tonight from Kirksville converting on the third down attempt to go for a first down. But now an opportunity to reset. But you've only got 1:09 left in the third, then a whole fourth to try to make something happen.
Stretch left. Massman. Chrisman, rather. Brought down by Brooks Horton after a pickup of 4.
Rushes, and rushes. We're kind of seeing Kirksville kind of follow that same pattern that Capital City has done this evening.
And it seems like, Joe, they've reverted back to what they did on their first drive of the game, keeping the ball on the ground. But this time it goes into the wrong hands. Landon McDaniel with the scoop and score. He has done it all tonight on defense. A couple of sacks, and now a forced fumble and a return for a score.
Oh, what can we say about number 32 and Landon McNeil for just going scoop, score, and getting Capital City even more on the board? It's 54-15. And just once again, we talk about this defense.